So yesterday we have started the chapter P block elements, group 13, that is boron family. And some of the general properties we have discussed, the physical properties of this family, their abundance, their atomic radius, their atomic and ionic radius. We discussed about the ionization enthalpy, the first ionization, second ionization, third ionization, and sum of all. We discussed about the density, the melting point, boiling point, and the isotopic form, that is icosahedron structure, B12 structure of boron. And we also discussed about the inert pair effect. So I'll start today with this topic only, inert pair effect. Children, it was clear to you all what is inert pair effect? My voice is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, your voice is clear.
Inert pair effect, when we are talking, what was it? It is the reluctance of electrons of S subshell to take part in the bond formation. That means if we are talking of the P block elements, then the P block element, the valence shell electrons are present in two subshells, S subshell as well as P subshell. S subshell is more penetrated towards the nucleus, and as we move down the group, in case of heavy elements like gallium, indium, thallium, due to this d orbital, which exhibit the poor screening effect, and f orbital, that is lanthanide contraction, because of all these reasons yesterday I've explained, that the S block S electrons are showing reluctant towards bond formation. So that means the only electron of the P subshell participates in bond formation, and that is the reason that the boron family exhibits two oxidation states. One is +1 and the other is +3. The +3 oxidation state, as we just to see the point, down the group screening effect increases from aluminum, gallium, indium, thallium. That means the maximum is in thallium, in gallium also. So here in these three cases, the gallium, indium, thallium, actually when we are talking of boron and aluminum, they exhibit only and only +3 oxidation state. But gallium, indium, and thallium, they exhibit +3 as well as +1 oxidations. Gallium show both +1 and +3. Indium also show both +3 and +1. But thallium exhibit only +1 oxidation state, because +3 oxidation state is not very stable. I mean, they are showing very much reluctance as electron to participate in the bond. So it will just stable only when it is in +1 oxidation state. But gallium and indium, they exhibit +1 as well as +3 oxidations. Agar hum baat kare stability of +1 and +3, so down the group, please write down the group, stability of +1 oxidation state increases. Down the group, stability of +1 oxidation state increases. That is from aluminum, gallium is more, indium is still more, and thallium is most stable. But when we are talking of +3 oxidation state, then down the group, +3 oxidation state stability decreases. That means if we are talking of +3 oxidation state, gallium, indium, and thallium, if we are going to compare, so +3 oxidation state of gallium is more stable than indium than thallium. Is this point clear? The oxidation stability of oxidation state?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, there is one exceptional question, that this compound, just you observe this compound, thallium iodide, TLI3, this compound. Often it is asked, just what is the oxidation state of thallium in this compound? When you will look at the compound, you will see that iodine -1, that means 3 iodides ions are there. So +3 oxidation state of thallium will be there. This will be the general answer of the student. But sorry to say, thallium exists only in +1 oxidation state. It is more stable. So here also the oxidation state of thallium is +1, and this is I3 minus I. Okay. Now gallium 1+ ion and indium 1+ ion undergo disproportionation reaction in solution. That means gallium 1+ ion changes to gallium 3+ and gallium. And order of disproportionality, disproportionation reaction is gallium exhibit most, then indium, then thallium. That means it is least in thallium because thallium exists only in one stable oxidation state, that is +1. So from here, inert pair effect, from this point of view, you have to understand that group 13 elements exhibit two oxidation states, +3 and +1. Stability of +1 increases down the group and stability of +3 decreases down the group due to inert pair effect. Now there is one question. Try to answer this. Answer is also given on the screen. The oxidation state of gallium in GaCl2 is, generally you will see GaCl2, your answer will be, oh, chlorine -1, 2 chlorine, so -2, gallium will be in +2 oxidation state, sorry to say. This compound, I mean the elements of group 13 exhibit only in +1 or +3 oxidation state. Same is for gallium. It exhibit only in +1 and +3 oxidation state. So the answer is both B and C, because GaCl2, actual structure of GaCl2 is in this Ga+ and GaCl4-. So one Ga is +1 oxidation state and the other Ga is in gallium is in +3 oxidation. So in this compound, the gallium is exhibiting both the oxidation state, that is +1 as well as +3. Now, one more question. Just now I have explained. Thallium iodide, that is TlI3, the oxidation state of thallium is +1. Just now I have told because it is +1 and this is I3 minus I. So this answer is +1. Now the order of SRP values, that means reduction potential value. Yeah, yesterday only I have explained the values. These values show that aluminum is most reducing. Aluminum 3+ ion changes to aluminum, that means the gain of electron. Here, among all the elements of group 13, aluminum is most reducing in nature. And that means aluminum 3+ ion changes to aluminum. But if we talk of Mn 1+ ion, so aluminum 1+ ion, it is most oxidizing, that means least reducing. This can be explained on the value, that just to see, the value of reduction potential is -1.66 for aluminum, and it is +0.55 for Mn1 plus 2Mn. So this plus value as shows that it is not ready to reduce. It is it is not acting as a reducing agent. Rather, it will be most oxidizing in nature. And aluminum, because of this value, it is most reducing. Thallium, just you see the thallium, the plus value, the reduction potential value, +1.26. This shows that it will not be in this state. It will be more stable in +1 oxidation state. Yesterday only I have explained this. Now one more question is there, which I have explained yesterday. You can give me the answer. The highest and the lowest melting point of the element in group 13 are respectively. Can you guess the answer? Lowest melting point and highest melting point. Anybody in the class? Anybody in the class? Yes, yesterday only I told ki the gallium. Gallium is having.
And lowest gallium.
Lowest is gallium.
And the highest,
is boron.
highest boron.
So answer will be C. Okay. Very good. This is the answer given. Now, electropositive character. The electropositive character is maximum in which of the following element? Can you guess? Just now?
Aluminum.
Very good.
Aluminum.
Because it is most reducing, so electropositive character is maximum here. Just a minute. So these are some important questions, and these questions you can answer very well. This question you can answer very well. Now, so now let us talk about the compounds, the oxides of this family. If actually the boron, okay. So oxides, when we talk of the oxides, generally I have told in the beginning, I have told you that boron exhibit in allotropic form, I mean the crystalline structure. So crystalline boron does not react with oxygen. However, amorphous boron we talk, it reacts with air to form their oxide. And the type of oxide we observe, the boron family members, it is of the type X2O3. It is known as cis-Q oxide. Cis-Q oxide because per element it is 1.5 oxygen. That's why it is called cis-Q oxides. So boron, it will form the oxide of the type B2O3, aluminum AlO2O3, Al2O3, gallium Ga2O3, indium In2O3, and helium Tl2O3. So this is the type of oxides they exhibit. Now, this oxide is observed only when amorphous boron reacts with air. Aluminum oxide, it is when aluminum reacts with air, it forms an oxide layer. This is a protective layer. So it will resist the further oxidation of aluminum. That's why aluminum metal is mostly used in our daily life because it is not oxidized very easily after the formation of a protective layer. So if we talk of the nature of these oxides, what are the nature of these oxides? The nature of these oxides, the boron oxide B2O3, this oxide is, can you guess? Acidic in nature. Yes, this oxide is acidic in nature. As we move further, aluminum oxide, gallium oxide, they are amphoteric in nature, and indium and thallium oxides, they are basic in nature. That means if we move from boron to thallium, the basic nature of the oxide increases. Basic acidic nature means these oxides, when dissolved in water, it forms acid. Amphoteric means they react both with acid as bases. And the basic oxides, they are basic in nature, means they react with acid. Any doubt to understand the oxide? Okay, reactivity towards acid and alkalis. Boron does not react with acid and alkalis. Its reactivity is, it is not reacting at all with acids and bases. However, aluminum, it reacts with mineral acids and alkalis and show the amphoteric character. It reacts with acid as well as alkali. You have seen the reactions also. Aluminum dissolves in HCl and liberates hydrogen gas. Aluminium plus HCl gives AlCl3 plus hydrogen gas. That means aluminium reacts with acid to form salt and hydrogen gas is liberated. So it is amphoteric in nature because it also reacts with alkalis. Aluminium reacts with alkalis and liberates hydrogen gas, and the reaction is twice Al plus twice NaOH in aqueous medium, H2O. It forms NaAlOH whole 4 aqueous and hydrogen gas is liberated. Just to see, aluminium reacts with acid as well as bases, and hydrogen gas is liberated in both the cases. So reactivity towards alkali and acids, boron does not react with acid and alkalis, whereas aluminium reacts both with acid as well as with alkalis. Now, one question is there, a very important question. Aluminium, H2O whole 6, 3 plus, this compound is a complex compound. Water is acting as ligand. Now, this is a complex ion. This complex ion, when added to water, what will be the pH? What will be the pH? The solution will be acidic, or it will be basic, or it will be neutral, or none of these. The options are there. The answer is it will be acidic in nature. Less than 7 means it is acidic in nature. Now, why it will be acidic in nature? Actually, aluminium is bonded to 6 H2O molecules, coordinated, when covalent bonds are there. So, coordinate bonds are there. So, coordinated with 6 water molecules. Now, when you will add it in water, what will happen? The bond will cleave. Which bond? OH bond will cleave, and not AO bond will cleave. Because this bond, oxygen is having great affinity for oxygen. So this bond, ALO bond, is very strong. All these bonds are very strong. So these bonds cannot be cleaved. However, the OH bond can be cleaved. If OH bond of H2O is cleaved, H plus ion will be released. So when you are adding AlH2O whole 6 3 plus ion in aqueous, what will happen? It will form AlH2O whole 5 OH minus 2 plus ion, and H plus will be released because here the bond is cleaved. This bond is weaker. This can be cleaved, and H plus ion will be released. That's why the solution will be acidic in nature. Is this point clear to you? Anybody? No response?
Yes, ma'am.
Hydroxides. We have learned about the oxides, and now we are going to learn about their hydroxides. Hydroxides of this group elements are in the form XO3 OH whole 3. That means boron, boron BOH whole 3. It is also known as H3BO3, that is the boric acid. Aluminium combines with hydroxide to form AlOH whole 3, gallium GaOH whole 3, indium InOH whole 3, thallium TlOH whole 3. So they all form the hydroxide of the type EOH whole 3. Out of this, boron hydroxide, though OH minus ion is OH is there, but it is not basic in nature. It is acidic in nature. Why? Because it will accept one water molecule, OH from water molecule, and give out H plus ion. So it is protonic acid. So this is acidic in nature. Aluminium and gallium hydroxides are amphoteric in nature, whereas indium and thallium hydroxides are basic in nature. They are basic in nature. So boron to thallium, the basic strength of hydroxide